Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, we have got a very, very special guest. He is a world champs medalist, three-time NCAA individual champion, and now Speedo athlete. Today, we are talking to Andrew Seliskar.
Let's go. What's up, Coleman?
So excited to sit down and chat with you today. We got to start with your big news. You are now officially a Speedo athlete, part of the Speedo family. Tell me about what went into this decision for you, how it feels, and what it's like to have an official suit sponsor.
Dude, it's awesome. Speedo is kind of the one suit that I've been wearing since I was like 8, 6, when I first started swimming on summer league teams back in Virginia. So, to be able to kind of work something out with them and to be able to join that family is super exciting. And, just kind of gives me more confidence and support heading into this summer where I can kind of wear my favorite suit and, be a part of that suit's family. So yeah, super excited. And like I said, just like super stoked on it. Like can't be more excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, you've been wearing Speedo primarily, pretty much your entire career. Do you know when you broke your first like big national age group record?
I don't know. I think it was in like 100 breast, I think.
Okay.
I was like 16 or 15 at we were in Austin for short course nationals with Nation's Capital. And so, our club team was always Speedo. I think I was rocking back in the day, it was called like the basically it's a iteration of the Intent, but I think that was probably back in like 2014, and was kind of surprised with the time. I mean, I remember that swim, it was like prelims 100 breasts. I probably finished like top 15, but at the time I was really psyched to be going 54.
Yeah, that's that's awesome. But just shows you've been breaking records in Speedo for 7-8 years now, which is awesome.
Totally.
You've already got history with that suit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so then I love asking about the photo shoots. You did yours. Was it in Mission or in SoCal while you were on that trip?
No, it was actually it wasn't too long ago. I mean, it was less than a week ago at this point.
Oh, wow.
But it was up here in Northern California at a local pool. Super fun. We shot with Becca, and, I had never done something like that. So for me, it was kind of a learning experience. Like, okay, I got to like pose and do all this stuff. But a ton of fun. Definitely got sunburnt on that shoot as well. But it was cool.
I don't think people realize how long something like that takes. I know Cody just vlogged about his Speedo shoot, but it's like that's a 10-minute video, and so like was it like a full day for you?
Not so much. Luckily for me, I was the only one there. I wasn't at one of the big shoots with all the other athletes, but it definitely took a couple hours putting on different suits. I got a sneak peek of the Team USA gear, the Federation suits, which I was super psyched about. I mean, I can't show any pictures of it or anything, but definitely looks sick. But it was cool. I mean, just being able to try on all the gear, kind of just have fun in the sun. Basically showed up, just swam a couple laps and came back,
Nice. Yeah. And then, I mean, you were on the Cal team with all those guys, your teammates with them there. In ISL and the LA Current, you have your teammates with a lot of those Cal guys, and now you are again teammates with Nathan Adrian, Ryan Murphy, Kathleen Baker, Abby Weitzel on this Team Speedo. So it seems like the Cal just really stays together.
Totally. Yeah, we definitely work well together, and it's cool to kind of have that group sort of transcend like the college team. It's become a big part of LA Current. Obviously they're all on Speedo. So Yeah, I mean, it's people I know. I mean, I was in the dorms with Kathleen and Abby at Cal. It's kind of just one happy family. So definitely psyched to be a part of that group, and it totally makes travel and everything easy too, because we kind of just roll deep to Mission Viejo or whatever meet we're going to. There's always a big Cal contingent there, which is great.
Dude, yeah, that is great. And I think it's worth saying, I don't know if we've talked about this on any other podcast, but in Mission Viejo, there were not spectators, and the athletes were in the stands, and the Cal crew made that meet. Like, they brought the energy to that meet.
Yeah.
They were cheering for every heat. They were going nuts. I mean, you guys really made it feel like it was a real swim meet.
Dude, yeah. So I feel like normally we would just be cheering anyway, like showing up to a meet, getting rowdy for the guys. And then by the second or third day of the meet, we realized, like, you can basically only hear us, because we had a group of like 20 people just screaming for every event. And yeah, I mean, it was super fun. I think it was in the 200 back, we had like 5 guys in the final, 6 guys in the final. So, they're announcing the lanes by lanes, and like, we're just going crazy, more crazy for each one. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it kind of felt like a inner squad in some ways, at least in those events, like talking to DC and Ryan and all those guys, like they've been going at it in practice, and we kind of just were there to hype them up for a practice race, in Mission Viejo, which was cool.
I mean, that backstroke group is getting ridiculous with
it's pretty crazy.
With what they did.
I'm gonna tell you, it definitely sucks to train with them though, because like, I do some backstroke pace from time to time, and it's like, all right, I got like 4 national teamers next to me. Like, it's tough, but obviously creates a good environment too.
I was just about to ask about that with that backstroke group getting so as ridiculous as it is now, and it's obviously grown in the last couple of years. Do you throw down with them on backstroke ever?
Occasionally, dude. I talk a lot of trash to Bryce and Daniel Carr about it, just because they're always giving me crap about it, because like, oh, you don't even do a 2 back, but I'm holding out. I think one of these meets I'll try and pop off 100 or 200. It's not gonna be anything crazy, but I'll get close. I can beat him in a 50 pace easily.
No worries. 50 pace got their number.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, are you ever gonna get in on the 2 back action?
Dude, I don't want to. Don't tell Derek that. But last time I did it, I think it was like literally that same meet with 100 breast nag. Like, it was probably 8 years ago at this point.
Oh wow. Yeah. No need, really.
Yeah, I'm good.
You've pretty much got every other stroke event covered. Getting to you, just more on a more personal swim level, this last year, can you kind of take me through it and how you've navigated, obviously training through a pandemic? I mean, starting with just this summer, were you guys out of the pool for a pretty significant period?
Not so much. We kind of lucked out. Obviously, California was definitely really shut down for a good part of the year, but with the connections we had, there were a lot of local pools outside the university that, we could safely go to and get in training. So it was definitely an interesting year. I think the swim part didn't change a whole lot. Like, luckily, we were still able to get water time. It might have been short course yards or short course meters instead of long course, but we were in the pool working. And then the weight room side of it was a lot different, but kind of more fun in a sense. There's a swim house. A ton of the guys on the college team live, a couple blocks down from me, but they were able to kind of build like this sick backyard gym setup, platforms, barbells, all that stuff. So, those first few weeks of quarantine, we were just kind of out there in the gym getting after it together. And so that kind of made it built up the environment, but also took away some of the stress of not knowing what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? So, and obviously as time went on, we were able to get back to the Cal pools, get back to our normal schedule, do all that. So it was tough, but definitely a little bit of a change of pace never hurts. Can't complain. I think we kind of worked through it in a way that in the long run, I think is going to play out well.
Yeah. I have to ask about the weight room. I've heard some of your teammates in terms of strength. You're pound for pound one of the strongest guys out there.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that. They're probably hyping me up, but
what how do you view the weight room? I mean, do you really enjoy going in and trying to get strong? Is that something that you're like, oh, I'd rather just swim, or are you pretty enthusiastic about getting in the weight room?
yeah, I think, I always try and look at it as like this is a supplement to try and make my stroke, strength within my stroke better. Trying to always have the focus of like, yeah, I'm in the gym right now, but I'm really still working towards the 200 free or the 200 IM. So I'm not going to just show up and, max deadlift every day, because that's not going to, it's going to probably hurt me at some point. I don't know. But, I love the gym. I think, like I said, it's a change of pace. And so, every once in a while, I'll kind of pick a day where it's like, all right, I'm just going to throw headphones on, kind of get in the zone, go heavy in the gym. And that's fun for me and kind of a good stress reliever in the same sense. So, I mean, I love the gym. I think that's one thing I'm really excited to, kind of keep developing as I continue swimming, because when I came into Cal, I was more of a 400 IM, longer distance swimmer. And so I didn't really do a whole lot of stuff in the weight room until my senior year. And so to kind of have the opportunity now to, have more of an emphasis on it is super exciting, super fun.
Yeah, nice. That seems exciting, and that's I didn't know that you didn't do a whole lot of gym stuff until later in your college career. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely did the full schedule of it, but as I got older, it kind of just progressed more into a focus versus injury prevention type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. And then kind of continuing on from your past year, you went to ISL, you were in the Budapest bubble. What was that experience like for you, being your second year on the LA Current? No.
Dude,
I'm sorry. Second or first year?
no, second year.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Budapest was great. That was super fun. Like that was kind of the light at the end of the tunnel for that summer where we didn't know what was going on, if we were ever going to have meets again. Right. So we all got to, spend 4 or 5 weeks in Budapest, and, it worked out well with protocol, COVID and everything. I mean, no one really got sick. The meets were incredibly fast. And the team atmosphere was great. Like everyone was obviously in the same bubble, but all of your training times were isolated within your team. So got super close, obviously, with the Cal guys on LA Current, but also, the rest of the roster. A lot of international swimmers on the team, a lot of guys I normally wouldn't be able to train with. Will Lacone, Maxime, all these guys that, I don't see on the pool deck at Cal, but then all of a sudden are my teammates in the ISL, which was a ton of fun. And, they treated us well. They had like unlimited espresso at all of the meets, like, literally like bringing around trays of espresso shots before your events. So it was a good environment. Like I really thrived off that. And you can definitely tell, like you watch some of those race videos and you just see guys like super jacked up. We had like 8 cups of coffee that day or whatever. Yeah, it was a great environment and like such a fun way to kind of get back into competition after a summer where everyone was kind of on their own for a little bit.
Yeah, I got to ask about some of the training that happened in Budapest, because I'm just curious about, like you said, everyone trained within their teams, but it was such a different environment where you were racing all the time. Who were you training with, and what was the training looking like, especially as the bubble progressed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when we first got there, it was more of a continuation of what we had been doing, in Berkeley. It was pretty standard, typical training. We had access to, short course, long course. We kind of alternated just based on the schedule. So it was great. And those first few weeks, like had a lot of sets with Lacone, like I said, Jacob Heitman from Germany on the Current, who I swam a lot of events with. And it was awesome. We had Jack Roach was one of our coaches. He was, one of my heroes, cool guy. He was a coach of mine on the US junior team back in the day. So being able to have sets with him was awesome. And then kind of as we progressed through the dual meets into the semifinals, into the finals, it was cool for me because I hadn't really had a ton of experience doing short course meters. So that last few weeks, it was like, all right, we're going to rest a little bit and really get dialed into stroke counts and turns and all this stuff in a new way. So I definitely think I got a lot sharper, and it was fun. I mean, for me, I hadn't swam that course a lot. So, it's like knocking off best times was easy because I had only swam, this event twice before. Right. So, but it was great. I mean, team atmosphere was awesome. Meets were really fast. I mean, that final meet was crazy fast. Watching world records get thrown down, every other event or whatever, it was great.
Did like you said, PBs weren't super hard to come by just because you didn't have a lot of racing experience. Did you have goals heading into the meet, whether that's just trying to execute a race or trying to go a best time, or just trying to win?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely looked at it as kind of a stepping stone coming off the summer. The summer had been super general, like, staying in shape, getting stronger. But we didn't have any racing opportunities for 3-4 months, right? So going to that, it was like, I'm kind of going to use this ISL season, obviously as an opportunity to compete, but to kind of jumpstart my year in terms of racing. It was a great chance to, I don't know how many meets we did, 6-7 meets in a month. So, kind of just knocked them out, bam, bam, bam. Really reminded me of the college season, because at least in the Pac-12, it was like we'd always kind of do that fall, winter training block, go home for Christmas, do the OTC training trip, and then, you're just knocking out dual meets every weekend up until Pac-12s and then the NC2A championships. So it was a lot like that. Kind of just wanted to get sharper each week, and obviously was really going for getting the current in that final. We wanted to get that team title, and I think, Lenny, our GM, does a great job recruiting and making a roster that's super well-rounded. So I get excited about that. Looking forward to that team kind of progressing and going after that team title, each year.
Yeah. Dude, especially with the draft this year,
It's exciting.
I can't wait for season 3.
Exactly. I'm interested to see how that plays out. There's just a lot of opportunities for the teams to get mixed up and moved around. And so, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, agreed. It should be good. So, and you in the Budapest bubble were essentially a Swiss Army knife. You were swimming a lot of different events and could kind of go as needed for the current. Did you have a favorite event to race during that?
Dude, I think it'd probably be, I don't know, 2 free 2 IM are like always going to be my favorites. I really thought I was going to like the 100 IM, and then I did it, and Dressel broke the world record. 2 lanes over, and I was like, all right, this is tough. So, the 200 is always kind of my sweet spot, especially in that short course format where I feel like I can really work the turns coming out the first, 150 or whatever. So those were great. Swam a couple 4 IMs. But other than that, it was kind of just really, like I said, like it was almost like a college season, just in Europe with a lot more people there,
Yeah, definitely. And then, moving out of that kind of into the last 6 months, has there been a return to normalcy in terms of, training and competitions at all? Obviously not as many competitions, but do you feel like things kind of have gotten back on track?
Totally. It feels pretty normal, especially at this point. We've been in these circumstances for a year, and it feels super comfortable. And we've still been able to get to a lot of meets. We did 2 stops in San Antonio. We hit that meet in Mission Viejo not too long ago. So the only thing that's really different is that there aren't any spectators at the pool, which, definitely takes some getting used to. But for the most part, it feels like a normal season. We've been, on deck at Cal like a normal season. So at this point, it feels comfortable. It feels nice.
Do you do you feel the effect either positive or maybe not as positive of having that second Olympic year? You know, obviously having the first one, there is a you can kind of feel the energy ramping up.
Mhm.
And I'm sure as an athlete, mentally, you kind of get a little more dialed in, and continue that as you get closer to trials.
Yeah.
Do you feel that? Do you feel the effect of having done that a second time in a row now?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the way I looked at it was like, there was nothing we could do last March or whenever this hit, right? Like we had gone to the Pro Swim Series stop in Des Moines,
Mhm.
and then we had gone up to the Olympic Training Center. And then, 2 weeks later, it was like, all right, everything's kind of put on hold for now. And so I kind of just did the same thing. Like mentally, I knew, we get there at some point. So kind of just let's defer this emotion, a couple months down the road when we know we're back on. Um, and kind of took, those summer months to stay in shape and then to kind of assess that it was kind of like a practice Olympic year, right? Like without knowing we'd have it, I kind of had a trial run. So I was able to kind of look back and, look at things that I thought I did well, but also where I could make improvements because, no season's going to be perfect. There's going to be ups and downs. So I kind of just tried to take that 2020 year in and then, just assess it a little bit, make some tweaks, and then apply the same thing to this year. So yeah, I mean, it worked out well. It doesn't really feel like, um, it's been like a 5-year cycle or anything like that. It just feels like another season, trying to swim best times, right? It's kind of the same thing every year, just get a little bit better each time. And so I'm excited. Like to me, it kind of, I kind of looked at it as like another layer of competition, right? Like it sucks right now that, the delay when it happened was tough, but, I just kind of looked at it as like, all right, well, I can handle this better than my competition, right? I'm going to be able to hopefully come out stronger than I was last year with another year of experience. So framed it like that and feel like I've kind of moved forward in the right way.
Yeah. And moving through this Olympic year, especially as a pro now, not having the college team or the NCAA or college schoolwork on your plate. Are you someone who can just train and then do nothing, or are you supplementing that time, especially
Definitely.
with that Olympic year, with other things as well?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely, love to do nothing, right? But kind of have to have other things on my plate during this time just because, um, yeah, I mean, you got to have a life outside swimming for sure. So I don't know, for me, really into music, really into cars, doing stuff outside. There's no shortage of nice weather in Berkeley. So it kind of works out like whenever, you have a day, day off or afternoon off and training, like there's always plenty of stuff to do in the Bay Area, which is great. Um, and that summer as well gave us a lot of opportunities to kind of hit the beach, just kind of hang out, do our thing versus being in that training camp mentality, 24/7, 365.
Yeah, yeah. On the Speedo, on the article we put out, or you signing with Speedo, I
Mhm.
saw like outside the pool, big punk rock fan, plays guitar, reading nonfiction books, spending out time
Yeah,
outdoors. I was like, wow, I get to know the personal side of
yeah,
Andrew. This
yeah.
is cool. How long have you played guitar for?
Probably about, I think I got my first guitar when I was 11.
Okay.
So been playing since then. Um, yeah, never like super serious, like learning music theory or getting really technical with it, but always loved just jamming with friends. Played in high school a lot, played in college a lot with some of the other Cal guys that I swam with. So that's always been a hobby of mine that's easy to pick up and put down and um, stress relief, right? Like getting in the garage and jamming out super loud definitely is something I look forward to. But um, yeah, I mean that's one of the things over the past year that's been great, kind of keeping my mind off swimming when I need to, right? Is being able to yeah, just kind of rock out.
Yeah. Are is playing music the main way your music interest takes form? I mean, obviously this year's been a little weird, but like Are you someone who goes to see live music a lot, or are you someone who like makes playlists
Yeah.
a lot?
Totally. Yeah, I think it definitely influenced it a lot. I know you post those like disco nap things, right? I love seeing your playlists. I kind of like doing the same thing. Like, um, I was just doing this the other day, but like, I got this rule on Spotify when it's like, whenever I save a song, I can't delete it. So I'm always just
Okay.
like, it's like I have like a couple thousand songs saved from, past 5, 6 years, however long I've had the app. But like, whenever I'm on a long flight or on BART or, have some time off, it's like shuffle all the songs and then try and make playlists out of it. So you end up being all over the place. You got like house music, metal, like chill acoustic stuff, kind of all blended together. Stuff like that. I mean, I really like kind of just trying to find new music. That's one thing I really love to do. And obviously, before this year, going to concerts and stuff in the Bay Area was great. There was always stuff going on, in the city or in Berkeley even. So that's been fun. Kind of looking forward to that. Hopefully, I know they announced like Outside Lands is a big music festival coming up again next year. So hopefully, by that point, it's like a reasonable thing to go to, right? But yeah, we'll see.
That that would be cool. Yeah, I know they're
Yeah.
having ACL here, I think in September, October.
Nice.
So
That's
yeah,
what's that park? It's like
Zilker.
Zilker Park or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
always looks.
So I mean, it's definitely cool, but I don't know. I will see what it looks like, how it goes,
Exactly,
and it should be interesting. But so we're down to less than 10 minutes now. So heading into trials, I'm gonna ask you to play analyst a little bit. Do you have events that you're focusing on, or have you narrowed your event schedule for trials at all at this point?
totally. I mean, I think like my bread and butter is always going to be like 2 free, 2 IM. I think those are like what I focus most on in training and then kind of work around that, right?
Mm.
So really excited for those two events. 100 fly, obviously, and then 100 free. Those are good ones. And that feels kind of like my core right now.
Mhm.
Outside of that, like, I got in a 2 breast this year, got in a 4 free admission, but like for the most part, like I'm not going to try and show up to trials and swim, 30 races or swim like all these different events, right? I think I did that in 2012 when I was younger. I did that in 2016 to some extent. But for the most part, like I'm kind of going, with intent, with focus, trying to, do well in those core events. But yeah, I'm really excited. And I think too, that could change. Like I always kind of like to go by feel and play it by ear. So, once we hit taper, once we get closer to trials, like, maybe throw in or substitute some event here or there. But yeah, I guess we'll just see when we get there.
Yeah, that seems like a good way to look at it. Not being too set,
Yeah.
and being flexible with those options. And obviously, it's nice to have those options too. What this being your third Olympic trials, do you feel differently heading in? Just having that knowledge of the first two than you did in 12 or 16.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, I'm really excited. Like going back to Omaha has been great because, um, having done it twice now, it's like, I feel like I progressed well each time. And I don't know, this time around, it definitely feels a lot more just like another swim meet, right? Like it's not, when I went when I was 15 in 2012, it was like, oh my gosh, like Michael Phelps is here, like all this stuff going on. And, I was really just there to kind of see, to get experience. And 2016, after my freshman year, was a different experience, being able to make some finals, be in the big heats with all the big guys, right? And so coming around this time, I feel like, really just excited to perform, kind of go for my goal times, get into my races, do my thing, and hopefully, with that Cal and with that Speedo contingent, like being a part of a team that is really successful at that meet and kind of progresses to the next level after trials.
Yeah. As a fan, I'm certainly hoping to see that on all levels. Very excited for that. So I got to ask about the 200 free. we saw Britain throw down at their trials, and I mean, their team's looking really strong for the 4x2. Obviously, other teams are looking really good. Having now been on that relay internationally at Pan Pacs, at World Champs, how are you feeling about 200 free at trials, and then heading forward, hopefully into Tokyo?
Yeah. Britain had a super fast trials. That relay's looking good. I have a lot of confidence and faith in our guys. Like, without a doubt, like, there's going to be 4 to 6 guys in the US that throw down at trials. Like, there's no shortage of guys that are really strong in the 200 free. And, I have a lot of confidence in, those guys that have been on the relay. I've been on the relay with in 2018 and 2019, 2018, like, watching Townley come home like 143 at Pan Pacs. Like, I mean, that was, I was screaming, I'm trying not to curse on this podcast, sorry, but I mean, just having a lot of confidence in those guys and like the Team USA guys. It just gets me excited for trials. Like, nothing's given at this point. Like, who knows who's going to be in that top 4, top 6, but I'm really excited, putting yourself into that heat, the finals at trials. Like, the 200 free is always just like a, slugfest. So yeah, really looking forward to it, and super confident, like, the US can put together a relay this summer that's, top tier without a doubt.
And for you, not necessarily at trials, just generally, swimming a 200 meter freestyle, what's the key for you to having a good race in that event?
Yeah. Key for me, I think, is just, playing to my strengths, right? Like, I don't think any race is going to be won the first 25 or, the start, the last 25, right? It's the culmination of your entire strategy, your stroke, your tempos, all this stuff. So for me, I always kind of trying to look at it, really as my own race. And for that, it's like, building tempo, really hammering those third and fourth 50s, trying to maintain my stroke throughout the entire race to come home fast. I get really excited about it. Thinking about how much my freestyle has progressed since college. I didn't really do it until my senior year. And so I feel like, there's just still so much kind of things that I'm learning day in and day out from Dave, from Nathan, from, all the people in my life that support me in it. So yeah, looking forward to that event for sure.
Same. Yeah, I'm getting excited for trials for sure.
It's coming up. 6 weeks out, I think. We're getting pretty close.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even realize that, but we're getting close. Andrew, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat. Any parting thoughts for our audience before we sign off today?
Nope, nothing I can think of. Just go Bears, right?
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.